And you're still watching Prime Morning. So today is actually a good one, I must say. It's a new week, a fresh week. This week, actually, everybody's going to get their salaries. Hooray! We're excited. Finally, the 51 days in the month of January is going to come to an end. January, whether I liked it or not, 51 days, it is done and dusted. Salary is going to be paid. I'm excited. And I know the NPP is also very excited because over the weekend, that's on Saturday, they are going to the polls to actually make sure they cast their vote and elect their flag bearer. Who will emerge as the flag bearer of the NPP? For me, I say it's a clash of the titans. When I talk about that, I'm talking about the prophets, because we are going to see who is a true prophet of God and who is not a true prophet of God. And that is when we are going to know who God speaks to and who God doesn't speak to. So I'm excited. I am counting down the days just because of that. But again, I want to say a good morning to you all. Now, over the weekend, President John Dramani Mahama stated that Ghana has now become, quote unquote, a poster boy for the International Monetary Fund, that's the IMF, citing that what he described as a massive economic growth and improved macroeconomic indicators under the IMF program. The statement has generated mixed reactions. While some agree that Ghana's economic indicators have shown signs of improvement, such as relative currency stability and fiscal consolidation, others argue that the everyday Ghanaian is yet to feel any real relief, pointing to high living costs, unemployment, and debt burdens. Now, this morning, we ask you, is it really true, or is Ghana truly an IMF poster boy? Has the economy improved as significantly as being claimed? And perhaps, most importantly, who is really benefiting from this so-called recovery? We need you to be a part of our conversations this morning. My guests are seated and poised for this. And so let me introduce to you my guest this morning. Representing the United Party is Mr. Solomon Owusu. Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning, Rosalind.
How are you?
We can't complain.
Great.
You are ready yourself to take your salary. Some of us, we don't know where our salary will be coming from, so we can only hope.
Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord. Oh, Jesus is Lord. We may have to possess the nation to get our salary back doors.
It is well. It is well. Anyway, I have also Bernard Mona, who is representing the PNC. He is currently the flag bearer for the PNC. So good morning, Bernard.
No, we don't have a flag bearer yet.
Okay, so
I am the leader of the
You're
party.
the leader. Okay, all right. So but you're going to run again, right?
Surely.
Hopefully you're going to be the flag bearer again.
Surely.
Yes.
Surely.
And I know you will become the flag bearer again because your people trust in you and they know what you can do.
Well, I'm grateful for your confidence. And then when you spoke about salary, I just looked at Solo in the face. And I was wondering where he was going to get salary to. Those of us who don't count salaries, the January is not 51 days. It's actually 92 days.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Well, January starts, and then you cannot get to the end of January. And it's the most difficult month in all the months, as you can imagine. Somewhere by the 18th of December, people get their salaries. And then true. Before Christmas, the salary is gone.
It's gone, finished.
So before the start of the new year, things have started becoming hard.
It is well. It is very well. And I want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. With Franco Trading Enterprise, you can get assured that you get all your authentic gadgets. So make sure you go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all your mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras. I mean, any gadget you can think of, we've got you covered. We can actually serve you at the comfort of your home, but all you have to do is to download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website for further inquiries, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still fun, Papa Perfie. Now, also, I want to tell you that this particular year, we want to stay healthy, and so grab your Koa natural fruit juice. It's made from the original cocoa fruits. Yes, you heard it right. You've tried all other fruit drinks, but not this one. So try it. You'll definitely enjoy it. Drink it chilled. It's very good for your health. No additives whatsoever, and so very healthy. So grab yours today and enjoy it and live healthy.
Where is it?
The Kowa natural fruit juice?
Yes.
Oh, we didn't
You
give
should-
some?
you should put
Don't
some
worry, we'll
here.
bring you some. We'll bring you some. It's not.
But how do you
know.
take cold drink in the morning?
Yeah, but you can't drink it warm because there's no additive to it.
Sir?
Yeah. No sugar, nothing.
But the freezing is also additive.
No, the freezing is preservative. Yes.
This morning, you are an art student.
Anyway.
I didn't do as essay though.
All right, so now as we are staying healthy, I want to tell you about the Joy FM Big Workout. I'm excited. Have you seen my poster? Well, if you haven't, you have to look for it. Now, Ghana, listen up. If you're serious about starting 2026 right, Joy FM has something big for you. It's the Joy FM Big Workout, which is happening this very Saturday. Yes, you heard me right. January 31st, and we are starting sharp at 6 a.m. at the University of Ghana Stadium. We are walking through East Legon, coming back to the stadium. Yeah, Solo is coming. Solo, you're coming.
I'll be there.
Yeah, Solo will be there, and you are going to be there.
No,
right?
Solo will not complete the workout. I can assure you.
But you will complete.
I will complete.
So we'll see you. Yes. So Bernard and Solo will be coming. Now, this very Saturday, like I said, we are all gathering at the University of Ghana Stadium, turning up the energy with non-stop aerobics, music, games, and that unbeatable Joy FM atmosphere. You know how we do it at Joy FM. No pressure, no judgment. All fitness levels are welcome. Whether you are just starting out or you are already active, this one is for you. So call your friends, charge your energy, lace up those sneakers, and pull up. This January 31st, now we say January is 51 days, don't worry. It's actually 31st, this Saturday, this very Saturday, 6 a.m. at the University of Ghana Stadium. This is not just a workout, it is a movement. The Joy FM Big Workout, New Year, Renewed You. The Joy FM Big Workout 2026 is proudly brought to you by Reedy Vitamin C. It boosts your immune system. Also, we have the hospital, new hospital, growing together in good health, and Akono Ginger, a free wara, and Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app, Apabako Services Bebre. Also, the Game Energy Drink, feel the energy. Make sure that we see you on Saturday at the University of Ghana Stadium. 6 a.m. sharp, don't be late. Come with your family and friends. This 31st, this Saturday.
Also, 5 people I know will not be part of it.
Oh, yes, exactly, because they are contesting, yeah. They can't even be sleeping at that time. You know?
Mahmoud Bawumia will not be
Out.
there. Ken Agyapong will not be there.
Out.
Ken Agyapong will not be there.
Out.
Brian Achampong will not be there.
Out.
Educhum will not be there.
Well,
But they need this workout too.
it's very, very important, you know. Thank you so much on that. Let me quickly do the newspapers and then we delve into our topic. The Ghanaian Publisher newspaper is my very first newspaper. NPP presidential race. AUCB TESCON calls for peaceful election. Bawumia pledges grassroots inclusion, leads with 57% in latest polls. MPP needs kind-hearted Ken Agyapong. This is coming from Na Toshi. Media critical to economic research. This is from BOG. And that will be it for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The next newspaper is Graphic Business. Republic Bank steps up mortgage financing, focusing on cutting processing times and supporting housing demand. Producer price inflation settles at 1.9% in 2025. Multi-dimensional poverty rate falls to 21.9%. And 2025 AFCON, African football's biggest commercial success. That'll be it for Graphic Business newspaper. You know, when we talk about AFCON, I think this particular AFCON, just before the finals, it was the one with the lowest publicity. But then the finals changed the whole narrative. I mean, that finals did something that we've never seen before in our lives. We'll keep on talking about it and about it. You know, it's not going to stop anytime soon. Who would have imagined a walkout by, you know, the Senegalese team being called off the pitch by a coach? We've never seen it happen before. In the history, we've never seen it happen. It's the first time this has happened. Yeah. He was willing to face the sanction, you know.
But he was protesting against an anti-African nation. Morocco is anti-African.
But they're Africans, whether we like it or not.
No, they rejected Africa. They
tried to.
They moved out in 1987 to join the European Union.
But
it's a fact.
Yes, they applied. We all know they applied.
They moved again to join the Arab League. So people that have told you that, look, given the chance, I'll move. You should be suspicious of them anytime you are dealing with them. I'm sure that if your husband ever threatens that, hey, given the chance, I will ditch you.
But they are not consistent. I mean,
you have to be cautious.
They wanted to join the ECOWAS. Look at where they are and how they wanted to join the ECOWAS.
No, because they wanted to now come back to the African Union. And you see, now they have some commercial pact with the EU. And so most goods from EU into Morocco are virtually at low taxes or import duties. And then Morocco now has become the conduit, flooding almost every African nation with European goods. So you don't say they are coming from Europe. You see them as coming from Morocco. So whilst you are imposing import duties on European goods, goods coming from Morocco are part of the African people.
They are fronting for them.
So they are virtually fronting for them. These people don't serve the interests of the continent of Africa.
Okay. Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper, which is my next newspaper. We'll fight for welfare, dignity of Ghanaians abroad, Foreign Affairs Minister says so. DVLA introduces reforms, license roadworthiness expire on holder's birthday. Pay 1 billion Ghana cedis to retired soldiers is gratuity arrears under CI 129, President Direct, and that will be it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. My final newspaper is the Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle. MPP primary, Bawumia's victory in sight, polls suggest this. Ken Agyapong squeezed his mouth and did not want to sign the peace pact. This coming from Ken Agyapong. GHS car caught hauling Bonsam Tower. Unyielding Volta police arrest driver in a special intelligence-led operation. And that will be it for the Chronicle newspaper. But they always carry a Bible verse, which I like, especially when I get it on Mondays, because it gives me a great start to my Monday or to my week. So today we are taking it from Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 16. You are filled with shame and not glory. You will also drink and be exposed. The cup of the Lord's right hand will come around you, and disgrace will cover your glory. And I think this is linked to the GHS car caught hauling Bonsam Tower, because the driver was actually using a Ghana Health Service car with Bonsam Tower. I'm thinking it's weed, you know. I mean, how do you do this? How do you do this? Anyway, now we go into our main conversation. You are part of the conversation, so don't forget to join us on your WhatsApp. Send us a text message, 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Now, with regards to what President Mahama said over the weekend, where Ghana is now, quote-unquote, a poster boy for the IMF, telling other countries to take a look at what Ghana has done within 2 years. Our economy or economic recovery is something that baffles everybody's minds. Now, talking about that, President John Dramani Mahama did state that for him, it's even a shock, because he was thinking he could do this probably in 4 years, but not in a year, under 2 years. It's a shock to him, and it can only be God. But the questions are being asked, are we feeling this in our pockets? Who is really benefiting? Is this really true? Are the economy, or is the economy booming as the president is saying? You are a part of the conversation. Let's hear from you what you think about what the president said. But, you know, let me ask Solomon, if Solomon, you agree with what the president said with regards to the economy's growth or the turnaround so far.
Rosalie, good morning. To a large extent, I agree with the president. The figures that we have been made to believe suggest that there has been a turnaround. In 2024, December, we were doing inflation at 23%. Currently, it's at 5.4%. So there has been a massive improvement in our inflation situation. The cedi to the dollar has largely stabilized. Your fuel prices has also, to a large extent, been reducing steadily, which is a good thing for the nation. Our debt to GDP, which was around 65, is below 40%. And so on and so forth. Your primary balance has improved. You have a surplus. That is around 11 billion. So all these things points to a fact that there has been stability in the system. There has been a turnaround. But for me, what is important is whether or not it's translating to the ordinary person. You see, it is not a fluke that we have been to the IMF for 17 times. We must be asking ourselves what we have been doing wrong, that anytime we go there, we seem to stabilize our economic situation. Then we go back, it becomes worse. It means we are not doing something right. And that something right is what we must tackle. I don't want to be praised by the IMF because the IMF is not an institution that builds. It's not an institution that develops a nation. The IMF is there to make sure that we continuously stay as a developing economy, as a poor economy. When do we invite them into our affairs? It's when we are unable to deal with our balance of payment position. When we are struggling, that's where they come in. And when they come in, the only difference they bring on board is that they introduce discipline. They give you stringent rules to follow, like what we signed in 2022. So the question we must be answering, which I believe must agitate and occupy the minds of the president, is beyond being seen as a poster boy, which is evident based on the facts provided. What are the policies that we are going to implement to transition from stability to transformation?
But Solomon, so far we've been to IMF a few times. It's not even a few times. A lot of
17 times.
17 times. Talking about that, do you think it's yielded any results?
No. I mean, they are not there for your in your interest. They are not there. The IMF will not encourage you to invest in strategic sectors of your economy. Remember the basis for the establishment of the IMF itself. The IMF serves the interests of the West. Your IMF, your World Bank, and so on and so forth, they serve the interests of the West and not developing economies. It is for us to think outside the box. Which areas? It is the reason why anytime I come here, I still make reference to our Great Transformation Plan. And that is the reason why we gave a copy to the president, that beyond the stability, this year and beyond, we must begin to see a massive investment in manufacturing. In manufacturing sectors such as pharmaceuticals, in manufacturing sectors such as the oil and gas, and so on and so forth. That is the only way we could expand our economy and then win ourselves from over-dependence of the IMF. We have to be disciplined. I can't wrap my head around it that when we are with the IMF, we are disciplined. When we are left alone, we are indisciplined. That is the point. That is what I can't. So we are still living in the medieval ages. The imperialists are still ruling us. We see them that when they come in, yes, a massive situation, we have to go to. We have to respect ourselves. We have to obey rules. But when it is for us, everything goes. We tend to spend more than what...
Are we saying we don't have self-control?
Yeah, we don't have it. We don't have it. We don't have it. It is the reason why we have been to the IMF 17 times. Because they virtually don't do anything. The IMF agreement that we signed, they told us to be increasing tariffs every quarter. You understand? Whether you like it or not, you have to increase it, tariff within the utility sector.
Yeah.
It's a must. But left to us alone, politics, when we know that where we have gotten to, we need to increase. They say, oh, when we increase, we will lose votes. What is the business? What is the big deal about losing votes when you know you are doing what is right? You are serving the interests of the country. You are not serving your political, parochial interest. So once we begin to understand that it's a nation that we are building, and the IMF is not a panacea, then we can then be self-disciplined. Look at the sort of investments we did, or all governments have done in the past. Sometimes it's mind-boggling. It blows your mind, the sort of investments. As if we are not a serious country. And it transitions throughout our governance structure. This morning I was watching your 6 o'clock news, and I saw an MP saying that he had donated 400 bobs. Was it balls or bobs? I couldn't believe it. And he had cameramen on him. These are not developmental agenda. We must begin to up the game. The world, you know, if Mamu sang a song, a man, you know, 2 point giant. They are living us. So you cannot continue to do your politics of the 60s and 70s. People are now going to the space. we must think aloud. So in as much as I agree with the president that there has been a turnaround, this is the year that policies such as huge investment in oil palm, as was announced by the finance minister, it will not be in our shelves or just on paper. There has to be an implementation.
Okay, let me go to Bernard Mona right now and ask him how he assessed the phrase, Ghana has grown or is grown massively, and what are the indicators Ghanaians must take a look at?
Good morning to Solomon Owusu, to yourself, and to appreciate his solidarity with Arise Ghana when we picketed at the U.S. Embassy over the week. I think that the impact was largely felt. Our message was well delivered. We are hoping that the Embassy of the United States of America will act speedily on the petition that we sent to them, so that we will see a return of Ken Ofurata to Ghana so he can face lawful state institutions for his conduct and his duty in office. Before I say that, if I take page 5 of the Chronicle newspaper, it says China malls in Kumasi are a threat to retailers. And this is coming from the Traders Union. That's part of the economy of Ghana. That is said to be booming, where we are having multiplicity of China malls springing everywhere, virtually denying the Ghanaian businessman who used to trek to China to go and buy wares at affordable prices to come to Ghana to come and sell. Suddenly, that conduit has been curtailed, where through the China mall experiment, all the goods and Ghanaians who go there to go and buy, retailing is done through their mall. So you just go there and it is done. There is no Ghanaian or the government of Ghana capable of going to China to establish a mall to sell Ghanaian produce or products. This neo-colonialism must cease. Where we have foreigners starting from ShopRite, we collapsed the Ghana National Trading Corporation, GNTC. We collapsed the Kingsway shopping mall and many others that were the, the chain stores of our nation. We collapsed them. Today, it is warming to have the existence and expansion of China Mall, Melcoms, ShopRites, and their likes that are largely unowned by Ghanaians. They are unowned by Ghanaians, but they are owned by foreigners and their capital.
But Dad, I asked this question. How is it that same companies or same products being sold by the Chinese cheaper than Ghanaians selling the same thing?
No, but if you have mass production and state deliberately invest, the Chinese government has its farms, they produce, they invest. As we speak today, there are many Chinese farmers in Ghana than Ghanaian farmers.
I understand, but I'm just trying to use the China Mall as an example, because if I go to China Mall, maybe I'm buying a bulb, let me use the same bulb scenario, for probably like 2 cedis. And then I step out and I'm going to my Ghanaian sister or brother and I'm buying it for 15 cedis. Automatically, what happens is I end up going to the China.
Because
the China Mall.
Your concept of commerce is a bit down. If you understand commerce, we have what we call lost leaders.
Me? Or who are you talking about?
Lost leaders.
No, wait, you said my concept of commerce is down.
Oh,
no, but that's what you said on national television.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't mean offense. But I'm trying to our concept of commerce. Sorry.
Okay.
Your concept, so the concept, I mean the Ghanaian.
The Ghanaian concept of commerce, not you
because
as
somebody watching will, even my bosses will end up sending me a message that this is what Bernard said, and even my haters watching, right, will end up using it in management
But I'm excited that you are concerned about what haters say. The people who don't like you, it doesn't matter how gloomy you are.
Actually end up going showing it to the management. Oh, you see what we've been saying.
No, I mean your Ghanaian concept, or let me put it, our Ghanaian concept of commerce is low. There is something we call loss leaders. And I say this all the time, always citing the Uber and then Taxify, which now is Bolt. Their concept. When Taxify came and Bolt took over, you realize that anywhere people preferred Bolt to Uber because they started giving us low prices. Now that people have largely accepted Bolt as the main, go and check the price ratios. You see that whilst Bolt prices may be down, they don't get patronage as compared to Bolt. Similarly, these companies come, and their first thing is to make their prices very low so that we become attractive and become addicted.
And then they push them small businesses out.
And now that they are out, they put their prices at a level that you have developed taste, you have become addictive to their malls, and you cannot return to where you left. So initially, you will see that their prices are down. But check later, then you realize that no, when we're buying on the wayside, it is far, far cheaper than what we'll be buying in the malls. But that time, we have become so consumed in the way they go about it.
This is bringing back the conversation we had last week where we had the price floor markets for the fuel pricing.
Yes.
Because that's what we're being told by NPA, that they are doing this so that the small businesses don't lose out eventually. Because Star Oil might be, pricing very low. Eventually, when these small companies
businesses are out,
then they start
increasing their price. I disagree. You see
no, can I? So I am saying that in terms of business practice and in commerce, this is what people do.
Yeah.
They introduce loss leaders, make losses on those things at the inception stages. They are not interested in breaking even.
Yes.
But they are having a long-term goal that at a certain point they will muscle out those that were competing with them. And they become the only ones you will consume at whatever price they give you. And certainly this is what is prevailing. Now, on President Mahama's comments. Yes, it's shocking that our nation's economy has boomed, given
in the space of
the kind of decline that we witnessed under the previous government. It was unthinkable that Ghana's economy can rebound within the shortest possible time. And somehow, it has been dramatic. I disagree, though, with the statement that we have become a poster boy for the IMF. I find that not a compliment, but a derogatory comment on our nation.
Why?
Ghana should not be a poster boy for any international, multinational, profit-making institution. Ghana should not. Ghana should live our example that we are capable of managing our own affairs with our resources at our disposal and owned and controlled by us. Rwanda is not a poster boy to the IMF or to the World Bank. Rwanda is a poster boy for the African nations to see that giving your own resources, giving good leadership, you are able to develop your nation to the apex that the world today clamors to be in Rwanda than to be in any of the big cities of Africa. We should be excited that just neighbor, Burkina Faso, within the short space under President Ibrahim Traoré, using their own natural resources and what they own, they are transforming and magnifying the space of development within the Burkinabe's territories, controlling their economy and commanding a center in the extractive sector is giving them the resources that they need. Go to Niger, where an ounce of uranium used to sell for less than $1, 80 cents, to France. When they decided that no, they will cut links with France, they were selling the same ounce for $200 per ounce. So that is tell you something that was costing less than $1 to France. when they decided that no, they take control and sell to the global market, they were selling it at $200 per ounce. Clearly, what it means is that when Africa is able to liberate itself from the stranglehold of the previous colonialists, take control of our economy, we don't need IMF to do anything. And I say this, if you go to New York, you see IMF, you see World Bank. We've not heard any day that in the economic meltdown of the United States, they have gone to the IMF or they have gone to the World Bank to go and take any loan in order to condition or cushion their economies. Yet they are situated there, developing policies for us who are overly endowed, and yet we do not have control of our resources.
So what are we doing wrong, Bernard? What
we are doing wrong is that, you see, these IMF, World Bank, knew it. Come to tell you that why is the government of Ghana engaged in electricity business? Electricity, no. Let's sell it to private sector so that the government will be free. Free to do what? To appoint ministers? To appoint CEOs? So that they will give you expenditure. But what can give you income? They tell you that no, it's not your duty to handle. So from day one, all state businesses, we have been advised to jettison them to the so-called private sector. And unwise as we have been, we have decided that, give it out to the private sector. Private sector management is better. In the end, we keep creating only expenditure outlets. I heard the president indicate over the weekend that we are going to employ over 12,000 soldiers within this season. Within this season, that 12,000 soldiers, what income are they going to produce? They are going to rather consume expenditure. What is the income sources that is going to support these people? ECG you are selling, that's where you can make revenue. Ghana Telecom you have sold, that's where you are going to make revenue. GNTC you have sold, Bonsan Ties, where you can actually sell and also make profit. Almost all the institutions that can give you profit, you are collapsing deliberately. TOR was initially collapsed until it was recently revamped. So everywhere that you can make money, so that the surpluses can be used to contain the expenditure in the security services, in the Ghana Health Services, in the Ghana Education Service, in the, what do we call it? All those things. Now, you are employing more teachers, you are employing more nurses, you are employing more soldiers, you are employing more police. All those are expenditure seeping employment. In the end, you realize that you will not be able to contain those employment. What you need to do is always to go and borrow, now to come and pay salaries.
So it means that even with what we are seeing right now, it's not permanent.
How is it permanent? Which sector of the economy do we own? From the extractive sector to the manufacturing sector. Tell me which sector we own.
So how are we seeing this?
Do you understand? So where I sit, your gold is, you own less than 5%, in fact now 2%. All your gold, you go and look for somebody, give a concession, they make money, you now follow them for taxes and royalties. You yourself cannot own the gold. You cannot extract it. The byproducts that will come along with it, you don't have it. Okay, when you go to the oil sector, it's now less than 10% ownership. So people come, just put their capital, extract and take it away. You are left with little. And we are priding ourselves that we are doing well, unless and until we don't take control of what belongs to us, first and foremost. Then we can begin. See, these countries that have dramatic transformation within the continent, starting from Libya that is now vanquished. When Gaddafi took over, he decided that, look, oil companies that were not owned by us, go. So from 17% ownership of oil in Libya, they gained 77% oil ownership. Who doesn't know the transformation that took place in Libya? That houses, accommodation were provided for every Libyan. Education was free. Healthcare was free. People who even wanted to marry were given initial money of $63,000 when you just get married, so that you can start life with. All these things were welfare that emanated because you controlled the wealth of your nation. If you go to what Burkina Faso is doing today, it is as a result that when Traore came, he said, look, mining companies come and sign a pact. The government will take half of the ownership. Some mining companies decided that they would not and went to Australia to go and organize big mining conference to be attacking them. The first week when the deal expired, those who didn't sign, they started taking over. And that is how come you are seeing those dramatic transformations. We sit here, we own nothing. And so we are doing economics of management. So when you are doing what I call inflation targeting, as soon as you target inflation and inflation comes down, unemployment is rising on the other side, which is a social consequence.
All right, so let me go to Solomon. Now, you know, with what Bernard just said, it means that this is not sustainable. And so probably in the next 3-4 years, we are going to see inflation rise again. And Bernard is giving these suggestions, but I don't know if ever we will have a government that will listen and say, okay, we are going to take over like what is being said. The big question here is, what are we doing right that we are seeing these indicators as it stands now, where inflation has gone down, but then it looks like it's not going to be sustainable?
Well, I mean, currently there is some levels of discipline. We are already not going to the international market. Remember, the last 8 years we were in the international market, borrowing as though there was no tomorrow. Borrowed about 13.5 billion, and you cannot pinpoint what exactly we use the money for. So that was why inflation was skyrocketing. So with the IMF in place and you not being allowed to do whatever pleases you, obviously your expenditure will be controlled, and once expenditure is controlled, there's not a lot of money in the system, so your inflation will definitely go down. It is obvious, it has been obvious to all governments that we are not going to make any headway with the way and manner we have been managing ourselves unless we enter into production, transformation. There has to be some radical changes in the system. We need to enter. You know, every country has areas that it has comparative advantage. Ghana has comparative advantage in agriculture. You understand? I don't see why we must be a net importer of rice into this country, a net importer of vegetable oils. I mean, we have been told by scientists that this coconut oil, granite oil, they are the most healthiest of oils that you could have. But somebody goes to Filipino or Philippine or so and bring an oil, name it sunflower, whatever. These are the areas that we have been entreating the government to invest. And it's not rocket science. Look, that's why my brother Bernard was talking about the fact that he is not for privatization. Unfortunately for him, from my background, privatization is not a bad thing. In fact, where we have gotten to as a country, we need that. The problem with what we are experiencing today is that whenever government decides to privatize any enterprise in this country, it gives it to foreigners. And that is why, conveniently, I always keep telling, now I want to take up this mandate, that whenever the Ghana Statistical Service churn out their GDP, ask them what's the GNP position of this country, the gross national product. In fact, the GDP is the amalgamation of everything happening in our country. But the GNP measures what Ghanaians are actually producing around the world. That will show you whether or not, as Ghanaians, we are doing well. You cannot tell me that if you say you are going to privatize the ECG, the aspect that you are privatizing goes to foreigners. Then what are you doing? You must as well sell the entire country to them. But if the privatization is going to go to Ghanaians, after all, where we are sitting, remember in those days used to be only GBC. Where we are sitting is a private sector enterprise. Joy Prime, and that is why we are all espousing, and it is a Ghanaian-owned business. So that the revenues that are made by your entity stays here. And it's not rocket science. I heard the president say that during his time when he took over, there were only 6 Ghanaian contractors who didn't even have a batching plant and so on and so forth. It took a deliberate policy to increase the number to what? 22. That is the sort of things that we must deliberately be doing. And we can only do so when your interest rate regime is very low. You were talking about the Chinese pricing lower than the Ghanaian. The only reason is that it's interest rate difference. The Ghanaian is borrowing at 20%. The Chinese businessman who is here has been given a loan below 5%. and we are in the global market. So when that Chinese person is here, he or she has the luxury of reducing prices, whereas the Ghanaian cannot, because if the Ghanaian do so, he has repayment to make at the bank, and these banks are shallow, they are hawks. Fail to pay one interest rate repayment, and everything goes helter-skelter. So deliberately, and I'll keep saying that it is the reason why most economists depend on their pension funds. What have you been using with our SNET funds? Because it's a long-term fund. This is where you deliberately have to give it to the Ghanaian businesses, serious ones as such, not those that are politically affiliated. So that they know that my government is in power. When you give me money and I squander it, nothing can happen to me.
No, Solomon, inflation may be easing, but then prices remain high.
Yes.
Which is very concerning. So how do we reconcile this and claims of the massive economic improvements?
That's why I've been asking the governor of Bank of Ghana, because there's a correlation between inflation, exchange rate stability, and the interest rate. So that now that inflation is down and exchange rate is stable, we still have to see a further cut in the policy rate to enable access to credit cheaper. Once access to credit is cheap, I tell you that you begin to feel the much impact in the system. Because it's not rocket science. Our market that we are operating is a consumer-led market. Rosalie, you go to market, nobody forces you to buy item A from Mr. A or B. What you do is that you first of all do window shopping to see which trader is selling at a lower price and the same quality. Is that not the case? So once you are able to do that, then you settle on the one that is selling cheaper. But unfortunately for the Ghanaian, they are borrowing. The cost of their capital is so high. And that's why some of us had a problem when we were kicking out the Ghanaian banks. Once again, our financial sector has also been taken over by foreigners who don't have your interest. See the number of times that those in tiptoe, they have been fighting the Nigerians. The underlying factor is the difference in exchange policy rate and interest rate. The Nigerian is borrowing in Nigeria at, say, 12%, 11%. The Ghanaian is borrowing a plus risk profile 20%. So at the end of the day, they have no money to go and rent your tiptoe, which is very high. And the Nigerians have come, they have taken over ECOWAS protocol. They are entitled to do business. So always they will fight and fight. You go to Abosokai, the Abosokai spare part dealers are fighting their Nigerian counterpart. The only difference is the interest rate. So government must make a deliberate policy. You can set aside funds where businesses, SMEs, can go and access loans at a cheaper rate, so that when they go and bring their goods, they can then be selling at a low price. You see, Ghana is in a strategic position. If we are going to have Ghanaian businesses sell their products cheaper, I'm telling you, we are going to take advantage of the Burkina market, Mali market, Niger market, and even Ivorian market. Because you see, all of them see Ghana as center. And once you have price, it's the same strategy that the Middle East, Dubai has used to develop the economy. They are central. They make sure that the prices are low, so all the adjoining countries go there and bring pass. It does not necessarily mean we cannot be producing everything that we need as a country. No, we can't. But we can be a trade hub, taking advantage. When people come here and come and buy your spare parts, will they not sleep in the hotel? It gives money to the hoteliers. Would they not be eating Ghanaian food? It gives money to them. Would they not be taking transportation or use your local transport? It gives money to the transport sector. So this is how you develop an economy. But with the levels of interest rate, I can tell you, that is why nobody is surviving. Nobody is surviving because of that fact.
Right. Bernard, when we go on social media, everybody has an opinion. Some say livelihoods have improved. Others say, no, it's not improved. We are not seeing it, or we are not feeling it in our pockets. From your perspective, do you think this economic growth or, over 10 is actually translating to job creation and improvement in livelihoods?
First, let me respond to Solomon. Solo, take this from me. I am unopposed to private sector ownership. What I am opposed is a private sector that refuses to develop its own and wait for the state and to go and buy things cheap. An example I give is the Metro Mass Transit buses that were sold for 22,500 to 3,000 Ghana cedis.
That one is
somebody goes to buy that and now becomes owner of a transport company and tell you that he has made it. Made it from what? From theft.
But we have to interrogate.
They understand.
Yeah.
Made it from theft. You don't sit down for the state to go and do its gold refinery. Then you come at the back, come and buy it at below the capital invested. And then you become a rich man. Tor was being sold at $22 million. Was being sold. If we did not resist that sale, it would have been sold.
Yes.
Within 7 months, internally generated funds from Tor's thermal operations alone amounted to $21 million.
So you have
Under a new, no, I'm saying that within the new management that...
Yes. We have discussed it here before.
You understand? Under new management.
No, they are doing well.
So it means that the public sector, if you engineer it with efficiency, with people with foresight, they will also transform. Why? There is a private, what do we call it, refinery in Ghana, owned by some Chinese.
Sent you, yeah.
Sent you.
Do you understand?
Oil, yeah.
Are we competing them? They are doing their work as private sector. I am not opposed to it. But I'm saying that what belongs to the state, why would you come and take it and call it privatization? The private sector has its own duties to perform. What the state can also do is to perform. And sometimes the state institutions serve as the absorber of the shocks. Do you understand? And so when you are underperforming, it does not mean that you should sell. It means that management efficiency is low. So look for persons with the requisite. Why is it that go to STC, the people that were working at STC and collapsed STC, most of them have gone to form their private companies, and they are doing well. Why? Why, Solo? It means that they deliberately will run down so that they can go and establish businesses that will grow.
Then Bernard, you are rather then making the point that they have to be because if they can deliberately run down cities, why don't you keep them there?
No, so that is the point I'm saying, that change them. Those who are underperforming, give them, what do we call it? KPIs. So that you measure them periodically and get to see what they are doing. If they are not doing, you don't wait for the things to get bad. La Palm Royal was to be sold.
Exactly.
Have you been there of recent?
Labadi Beach Hotel was to be sold.
Was to be sold. Yes. Go there and see the transformation that new management has brought. Almost every single space that was deliberately abandoned, things were being packed anyhow. Go and see. Even their pool, as soon as you enter, and you see the way the pool is now beautiful.
Only last December, they brought it back that they wanted to sell it.
You understand? Things are showing.
2024.
2025, the issue came back again.
No, and I don't want to mention names of ministries. That old La Palm. The old La Palm.
What they know is for government.
Yes, the old La Palm, they have declined to pay. And so all of them were hiding so that La Palm will collapse. If it collapses, you will now go to a private sector company. You will not be allowed to take on credit.
Of course.
So it's a deliberate collapse.
Precisely. So I am not against private sector, but I'm against people taking over what the state has developed and saying that they become cheap, they become thieves, and tell me that they have grown. Now, on the issue of this is what we in development economics say, that economic growth necessarily does not translate into economic development. Neither does it translate into welfare improvements. It depends on who owns the growth. The growth of Ghana's economy is by what sector? I am to do my statistics again, but in the past, and I'm sure, Rosalind, you will agree with me, that around the December to first week of January, the industry that grew well was the drinking bar industry.
The service sector.
The tourism sector.
No, the drinking bar sector.
Tourism.
The drinking bar sector.
It's a tourism sector.
You want me to say tourism?
It's a tourism sector.
But I'm just telling you that the booming sector within that space largely was the number of bottles people consumed.
So,
do you understand? Businesses would boom. But is that sustainable? That is how come you calculated January for 51 days. Do you understand? So clearly, within a certain period, things will boom. The other thing is, like I initiated, if you don't own the commanding height of the economy, and I always do this, you say GDP has grown. Who owns that GDP? So we come to the telecom sector. That GDP is owned by MTN. Which Ghanaian owns it? The government of Ghana doesn't own it. And it's the biggest telecom provider in this country. You move to Vodafone, now Telecel. Yeah. Who owns it? So GDP growth within that sector can be huge. Yeah. But after that GDP is grown, calculated and added to your economic performance, the next week, the thing is carried away to the UK, to Australia, through South Africa. You own nothing. So on paper, GDP has grown. But in reality, that GDP is not with you. Go to the extractive sector, take oil, 13%. Go to the mining sector, you own less than 5%. So when the GDP is big, at the end of the day, what we will calculate as the next national product doesn't exist. Yeah. It doesn't exist. Or you can call it gross national product. It doesn't exist. That is extracting what foreigners own in your country and leaving what the nationals own. And what the nationals own will actually stay in the economy. So what Solo owns within the transport sector, Solo is not going to fly that money away to Australia.
It's gonna stay.
It will stay here to create jobs. But that is insignificant. And that is why we see all these economic indicators and its translation onto the market or to the consumer is low. So yes, inflation has come down. And I said we are doing inflation targeting. It means we are restricting some government spendings. Government is not spending. And if you go everywhere in this country, roads, even within Burma camp, when you go, the roads are not that good.
Burma camp roads used to be good, you know.
Super good. If you go within Cantonment's enclave, which we call government residential area, the roads are not good. Then we have the traditionally untarred road since time. And we are micromanaging. Because you are micromanaging, you are not releasing resources for the constructions that will have to take place. And I'm saying that no country has developed on piecemeal. You have to leap. So when the German economy collapsed and they had to do the development, they did Marshall Plan. It was massive construction everywhere. They told us that by the time you finish taking a cup of tea, the price of the next cup would have been twice. That was galloping inflation. They survived it today. If Germany is getting to inflation of 1-2%, they think that is too high. Our development, you don't have rail. Your aviation, particularly internal aviation, is the worst I have seen. All flights must come into Accra, and all flights must go out of Accra. So if I am in Wa, and I have to go to Tamale, and I cannot sit in a bus, I have to come to Accra, and then pick a flight to Tamale. Okay? If I'm in Tamale and I have to come to Kumasi, I have to pick a flight to Accra, and pick a flight to Kumasi. If I'm in Kumasi and I want to go to Sunyani, I have to come to Accra and pick a flight to Kumasi.
But we saw the MPP government trying to solve that problem, right? Where we saw an improvement or a facelift in the Kumasi airport.
What has that got to do with constructing beautiful edifices?
But the plan was to have us...
They call it International Airport.
There.
Take note.
Yes.
They call Tamale Airport International Airport, Kumasi International Airport. So what it means is that flights should come from Germany,
to
Italy, from London, from the US to land in Tamale and land in Kumasi. Really?
So at least they started to start.
No, what did he do? We wasted money.
They swindled us.
No, we wasted money. Since the Kumasi International Airport was constructed, The first trial plane that landed there. Tell me which other plane has landed.
Even that one, it was a problem. The Ethiopian airline that they brought there was a problem.
Tell me which other flight has landed there. Given the amount of money that we have invested in constructing that edifice, how are we going to recoup it?
So now we have to let the government or engage government.
So it is not about the construction of these big things.
Land there, right?
KMG has come. It's not the construction of these big things. Do you understand? It is about how we are able to utilize even what we have. If you go to airports in Zimbabwe, they are not as big as our Terminal 2. They are doing well. But we constructed Terminal 3, we constructed Tamale, we constructed Kumasi, we are constructing who?
Anyway, someone will say it's a tourist site. So
I agree with someone.
A tourist site.
I agree with someone.
It's a tourist site.
You know, Solomon, as it stands now, we are looking at the economic improvement. We have spoken about the fact that it can be sustainable or might not be sustainable. Yeah. But then again, you know, is it a temporary IMF supported stability as we look at it currently?
That is what I see. That is what I see. That is why all of us, it's our duty as a country to force the government to do what is right. We must not be swollen-headed. Go into the productive sectors of the economy. It's very, very important. Whether you like it or not, without production, you cannot rake in any much in the forex. You understand? And we have a lot to look. Egypt, South Africa, and so on and so forth, they buy a lot of wheat. Are we saying that we don't have lands that are suitable for the cultivation?
But who said that wheat is the only thing that can even produce bread? Yeah,
I'm even coming there.
Why should it be wheat? You produce maize, you should be able to make bread out of flour.
I'm even coming because the point is that you are looking at what will even fetch you the fastest foreign exchange. You can enter into wheat and you get it. And I'm saying things that do not need any over scientific or extreme investment. Simple things. But if you don't deliberately give money to the private sector to go there, you won't get that resource. We established Agricultural Development Bank. Rosalie, the name, as the name suggests, what are they supposed to do? You help me this morning.
To support that sector?
Absolutely. Go and check their loan portfolios. How much they extend to agri. You suppose that one to how much they extend to those that are going to China to go and bring goods. And you wonder why the name has not been changed from ADB to China Annex. They give loans to farmers as though when you plant a corn, the next day you will start harvesting. I mean, and the rate, that is why you hear that there's a food glut, but farmers are unwilling to reduce the prices to that barest minimum because they also have overhead costs, they also have loans to pay. Those that were lucky to have access facilities from these banks, go and check the rate. So this year, this government have no other luxury. If indeed all of us are saying that enough is enough, we don't want to go back to the IMF, the only medicine to that, the only panacea, is that we also engage in things that we have comparative advantage of. And how is it that we discovered oil here? We had Tor. Yet we were running down Tor to the extent that the crude is sent to Rotterdam or Singapore to be refined and then brought back and sold to it at that exorbitant price. Which economic book tells you that? So immediately, just like Bernard was saying, what is wrong or what is so difficult about we going back to our petroleum agreement and say that our share in the petroleum sector, we are going to convert it into crude and process it in our refinery. Because when you process it, there are a lot of byproducts that you get out of that. By they send it out, we are losing out on all these byproducts, your kerosene, your bitumen, your plastics. And remember, it's plastics that will aid in your automobile industry. We are even losing out on fertilizer, because fertilizer is also a byproduct from this crude. Can you imagine if we are able to utilize it very well, how much will be saved. So these are things that are not rocket science. And I believe that with the establishment of the Economic Advisory Committee, headed by, who is even heading it?
The president.
The economic...
Yes, headed by the president. With all those who have been, in fact, the members of that committee, they have seen the failure. They have been part of the failure before. Failing is not a problem. It means you have to learn from it. Because if you are going to look at those who are there, they have also been part of the management of the economy in the past. You saw what you did that got us into where we were. So that must be a learning curve to begin to advise the president properly that, Mr. President, yes, all the indicators are down, yet the youth, the teeming youth are unemployed, they are home. They are not getting jobs to do. And they are not getting jobs to do because the economy is not in a house.
But if we say they are not getting jobs to do, so who is benefiting from this economic growth?
It's the few companies, the multinationals, they are benefiting from it. The rich, they are the ones benefiting from it.
So Ghanaians are not really...
Not really benefiting from it.
Some Ghanaians are actually, praising the president, especially with fuel prices.
I said that anytime you make the erstwhile administration and the administration the benchmark, you will not get it right because they must not be existing in your minds. What you were treated to in the last 8 years was nothing. You had no semblance of governance. How can you manage a country and then lead us into an inflation of 54%? That is killing the people. So for them to have come and then brought it down, what it means is that we now must do what is needful. They use the first year to undo a lot of the unseriousness. Now is the time to do what you promised the people of this country, the jobs. It's all about jobs, jobs, jobs. You were told to go to the university. After university, what were you told? That you get a job to do. Well, fine, those that finished university in the last 4 years, then the percentage that have gotten jobs to do. Today, people that finishes university, they see national service as their savior. All of them are rushing to go and do national service. You ask them, what is in the national service that you are rushing? I don't want to be in the house because it's so humiliating. I haven't finished school, I wake up and I don't know where to go. And that is why this year and the years subsequent, we must begin to see actual investment in the real sectors. In the real sectors.
All right, so I have a few messages coming in. Let me read a few of them. So this one says, good morning, Brother Solomon. Owusu has made my day today. Very objective insights. Anyway, 5 days more to go. I urge NPP delegates to vote for Dr. Bawumia. Number 3 on the ballot paper. The best candidate to win power for NPP come 2028, inshallah. Master Planner Junior, Policy Analyst Ken Agyapong. All right, so he has come. Let us not mix politics with business. What has Ho Airport done to the economy of Ghana? How many commercial flights have flown to Ho? Well, there's a question. Well, Bernard Mona is also saying that, you know what, let's try as much as possible to have more flights landing in these places because it's not connected as we think. Ghana is not as connected as we think.
Ghana doesn't have any internal flight of our own. After we sold Ghana Airways, we don't have any internal flight. Yes, so it's private sector that has to buy their planes and then determine which routes to fly.
Pamina Acidity, I have questions. Good morning, host. What happened in Yakubu in Ashanti region is very terrible. How can illegal miners attack our men in uniform? IGP, that officers need promotion. Special greetings to Honorable Charity Gardner Ahafo, Regional Minister. Continue lifting the image of Ahafo Kwamina Acidity. All right, thank you very much. Meshak Asante Inamasaman says NPP has become so violent to the extent that they have to sign peace pacts before they can hold internal elections. Well, peace pacts, there's nothing wrong with signing peace pacts. It has nothing to do with violence. It's just for you to make sure that there's peace. That's it. So I don't think that is the reason. I think that they are signing peace pacts for everybody to be at peace, okay? So it's not about violence. Thank you very much, Meshak, for that one. Nana Ekwamwa Boating says, good morning, Roslyn. A very special birthday to Edna Mame Sewa Boama, political science student at University of Ghana. Do have a blissful day. Cheers. Thank you so much. Nab, I thought you sent a message about your election, so because you have just a few days to go to the polls. Musa Abatwa Nasawasi, I wish the MPP well, but the fact is that Ghanaians are now feeling the real impact of governance compared to the past Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. The price of many food items have reduced by more than half. Fuel prices have also dropped drastically from 17 Ghana cedis per litre to 9 Ghana cedis per litre. We are praying to the Almighty God to protect President Mahama and his economic management team. Resetting Ghana is surely on track. Aban Papa Abba. Okay. The Ken Agyapong's candidacy for NPP flag bearership is that both the NPP and NDC, together with the general public, wants Kennedy Agyapong as the next president after John Mahama, and as such, the NPP delegates must listen more to this clarion call and vote massively for Kennedy Agyapong. Blueprint writes from Isikadu Kenton. Okay, this morning, I think that the NPP, they are really counting down to Saturday, who becomes the next flag bearer of the NPP. Good morning, Madam Rosalind, and your panelists. I'm Big Alaska from Garu, Tempani, and my greetings to all youth in Tempani constituency and Honorable Joseph Mbila, DC of Tempani. Indeed, our economy has improved for the past 1 year when John Dramani Mahama took over from Nana, but people are still complaining about food prices being high. How can you buy a bag of maize in Garu markets for 300 Ghana cedis and still sell a kenke or a ball of kenke or banku for 10 Ghana cedis? How? We are own enemies, not the economy. Tell my brother Bernard Mona to always send people to TV programs who believe in the principles of Nkrumah. How can you believe in Nkrumah's ideology and defend alleged criminals who don't want to account during stewardship? Okay, let me see.
I should send them. I have power.
Well, you start deploying the people.
Tell them that even me, I come on your invitation.
Good morning, Rosalind. Do you know that the public sector workers in Ghana are being subjected to inhumane treatment by this government? Today, Monday, January 26, 2026, public sector workers are unsure when they will receive their salaries due to challenges with the validation system. In fact, validators are in disarray, and the majority of the public sector workers are not being validated. Truth be told, the situation is deliberate on the part of the government, stemming from a lack of respect for public sector workers since they assumed office. Unfortunately, the media and CSOs are quiet about this pathetic situation that the public sector workers are going through for 40 days without pay. Now, Bernard, I come to you. We are seeing economic growth. We are seeing public sector workers complain. So then it looks like, just like Solomon said, it's just a few people who are benefiting from this economic sector growth, because we shouldn't hear public sector workers complain if really the economy is growing.
Definitely. I think that we are repeating and repeating. Your economy is not owned by you. The sources of incomes or revenues are limited and shrinking. Government has been trying over the period to do what they call expenditure discipline by reducing the number of ministers, so they shrink the expenditure. But for how long can you continue to reduce expenditure? Government will decide which items of my debt should I pay and which one should I hold on in order to maintain a certain good books. So we decided, okay, teachers or public service workers, their income should wait. And then let's go and pay contractors some amount of money. So while the contractors are okay, temporarily, then we come and deal with part of the public sector workers. Yeah. Then we are doing that cycle of managing. So you hold on some group, deal with some group, then when there is agitating, you come and deal with that group. So it is that cycle, and I'm insisting that without taking control of the commanding heights of your economy, this cycle will continue. We will continue to do inflation targeting as opposed to doing direct investment, expanding all the frontiers that I'm talking about. It doesn't stop. If we cannot get international airlines, we should have a Ministry of Transportation that is capable of saying that, look, we are going to buy small planes that will be able to travel from Kumasi to Wa.
Even cars we are not getting.
They understand. And precisely. And we don't even have buses on the road.
Yeah, we don't even have buses.
Now we have metro buses, 105 out of 1,000 buses.
Yeah, so there again, you see, that is where you bring in the private sector.
Yeah. But the private sector is there. But they want to take private sector or individuals bought over 313 buses. None of them bought it up to 30,000 Ghana cedis.
No, what I'm saying is that...
Do you understand? And those buses are being painted. Recently, we saw some in Burma camp. They are spraying them.
The VIP started with few buses. They have been able to expand. You go and buy 245 buses for Ayalulu. 5 years down the line, we are talking about only 80 working. Who will do that? The head of my Owusu Penny, I give you 245 buses. The next 2 years, I'm expecting it to double to 500.
More.
The same thing with Metro Mass. So the mindset with which people go into the public sector means that you have to have a new way. That's why we are saying that encourage the private sector. You understand? And you can only encourage them when your interest rate is very down.
But you see, if I take a look at this message that I just read, okay, and, you know, saying that public sector workers in Ghana are being subjected to inhumane treatment. This is coming from a public sector.
But that's why we need to interrogate it very well. They have salary challenges. I don't think so.
Okay, so we will definitely interrogate it. But I'm just saying, if it's really true, then definitely when people are going to work, they won't give their full...
Absolutely. I mean, you can't go work on an empty stomach.
Roslyn, don't doubt. When we were in school, those of us who came from poor homes, in order to do our education, you left secondary school straight. You went to what we call the POSEX. Later teacher training colleges and now colleges of education. Because as soon as you enter the college of education, you get allowances. Some of us were able to put up even houses or rooms from that. And we were able to store money. Said that immediately after teaching for 2-3 years, you were now able to move into the university. And soon after you completed your teacher certification, you were posted straight into a school. You started earning income. And so we saw that one way to start to stabilize yourself was to go through the teacher training system. Today, go to the teacher training. The allowance has been taken off, justifiably. 2, there is no automatic posting as soon as you complete your teacher training. You are asked to go through some rigmarole. When many of the people who decided to go and do nursing and other allied sciences, the belief is that they were in high demand. And so you went to do nursing, you did some allied sciences, or you went to do medicine as a doctor. As soon as you finished, you were posted. Today, those prestigious courses or programs, they are staying at home 3, 4, 5 years before they can also get enlisted or recruited. How is that going to solve the challenges we have? Most of them have taken loans in order to complete their courses. The loans are yearly compounding in interest, yet they don't have secured jobs to be able to do that. And in the end, Solo, some private sector abuse these people, particularly private sector financial institutions. They bring you on board, then they give you targets. And our young ladies have become something else. They are moving from...
become.
You know what I'm talking about. You want me? They have to move from one office to the other, one place to the other, seeking people that will be able to enable them to meet certain quotas that they are given at the end of the month. They are subjected to all manner of deals.
Well, if you are a smart marketing person or salesperson, you might be able to get the monies without doing anything. So we read more messages. Good morning. I don't understand why most Ghanaians are refusing to think because of dollar issue and low inflation rate. When cocoa farmer complain about not getting buys for their cocoa, the only answer is dollar has come down. When trained teachers and nurses complain about posting, the only answer is inflation rate has come down. I remember some time ago when Ghanaians complained about economic hardship, they were being answered the same way that free SHS has come to stay. Ghanaians will never grow and politicians will never learn. Isaac Kusi from Akrokere. All right. Good morning. Perfect submission.
I think
for the last test, is talking about job.
I agree with him in total.
Absolutely.
Inflation has come down, has nothing to do with my unemployment situation. Right? What do we call it? The dollar exchange rate has come down, has nothing to do with my being unemployed. So the thing that people are demanding is, where are the jobs?
Right. Where are the jobs? Good morning. Perfect submission from my boss, Bernard. I'm watching you live inside. Is it what? Jangusi. Is that how you pronounce it?
Jangwase.
In the Nandole Kaleo. Okay. Michael from Spain, Texas says, good morning, Joy Prime, and to your guest visionary panelists. In fact, I totally agree with your panelists, Bernard and Solomon, for not privatizing our properties to foreigners. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, Roslyn. Please ask the government for us when 2024-2025 rotation nurses and midwives are going to be paid their NSS allowance. We completed our national service in May. It will interest you to know that during the first year service, we didn't receive any allowance. The explanation is that we will be given all the allowance after service. But as of now, we haven't received any money since we completed in May last year. All right. Good morning, Madam Host. It is always unfortunate listening to the bitterness of Solomon. Bitterness of Solomon benefited from previous government. These guys have no... Okay.
Really?
But have I ever been in government?
You benefited.
All right, so Al-Hassan Sise from Zeno Central says, good morning to everyone. The economy is now doing great. It doesn't matter whatever some doomsayers will say, things has changed. If for nothing at all, we have all seen the reduction in fuel prices, the reduction in foodstuffs, transport, and the city gaining its strength against the almighty dollar, which has only one head on its butt, always able to beat our currency, which has 5 heads. All of us should support this current government to sustain the gains made so far. Regards to Brother Bernard Morna. Okay, I think that'll be it for the messages for now, or I haven't read some.
The last message is exciting.
Okay, which one?
It's exciting because no matter what you say, fuel prices have come down, things have come down. But a chunk of the people are unemployed with no income. So these reductions really don't mean anything to the unemployed or the one that earns no income.
Right.
It is when you have income that you actually feel this. And so what are we doing to contain the unemployment situation that is virtually eating all of us out and sending chunks and chunks of our people into the unauthorized field of galamsey that we daily are beating them and killing them.
Right. Good morning. I am Okai from Bantama in the Sene West District. This is not about politics. In fact, farmers are worried and no one is eager to address this concern for us. Almost all farmers in Ghana are struggling. Cashew beans that sold for 20 cedis per kilo during Nanado's time has dropped drastically to 9 cedis. Meanwhile, this man is boasting about the cedi appreciation against the dollar, knowing the system is a direct robbery for Peter to pay Paul. Or should I also say dollar is down, therefore I should keep quiet? Okay, so this one, he's saying that it was being sold for 20 cedis. It's now being sold for 9 Ghana cedis, and he's not happy. But you see, for the buyer will be excited about this, right?
I am here to be a cashew farmer, so I'm going.
Yes,
to,
so
but I'm not into that field yet.
We can also not discount the positive indicators. What it means is that others are benefiting from it. Those who are in employment.
Yes.
So the next phase, we must all insist, is that this government begin to do things, policies that would go
benefit the
farmers, bring employment. Because that's the only solution to.
What happened to the Ghana Food Distribution Company?
What's what?
Ghana Food Distribution Company.
No, it's gone.
It's gone. We sold it.
But we brought in the buffer stock and see what happened.
We sold it. That's right. Anyway. So the Food Distribution Corporation was everywhere. We have some just here.
Yes.
Yeah? And so what the government of Nkrumah used to do is that when we have this bumper harvest, they buy from the state and they put it there.
But can you imagine if the Food Distribution Company was still to be around, how political parties would abuse it? They would be distributing the food to their members.
No, but at least the farmers would have gotten their income to be going to go and do reproduce.
All would have been happy. But thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. Unfortunately, this
I want to talk about the MPP for just 30 seconds. I sincerely wish the New Patriotic Party well. Their existence have contributed in multiple ways to multi-party democracy. And I say multiple ways, negatively, positively, and neutrally. And so they have. And when they are going for an event like this, what happens within their internal primaries can impact on other political parties and our democracy. So I hope and pray that this, their 31st January Congress, will turn out to be one of the most peaceful congresses that they will have, selecting leaders that they believe in, but leaders that I believe we should defeat in 2028.
All right, fantastic. And leaders, you should be able to defeat
in 2028.
We hear you. Yeah, Solomon.
I mean, what is there to celebrate? These were members of a government that sent this country into a roller coaster.
Why did I say that?
I mean,
we are excited.
The 54% inflation, but for the patience of the Ghanaian, this country would have been turned into something else. And after that, instead of sitting back, analyzing what really caused the defeat, not too much to do with whether or not you held your internal primaries earlier than now, you are rather interested in elections. I mean, I can't imagine, and coupled with the fact that the sort of insults that have come out of this whole campaign, I'm wondering how they will be able to recover after that. Because you can't look straight into someone's face and say the person is mad. You call Ken Agyapong a mad person. And when he becomes your leader, how would the Ghanaian vote for a mad person? You look into the face of the vice president, call him autistic. How would Ghanaians vote for an autistic person?
PhD holders who don't
know how to read and write. They can't read, that's what we have been told. So all these things have happened, and I do not envy what has happened. I believe that, having told us that all of them have sinned, I believe on the 31st of January they will be electing the Holy Sinner for us. And once the Holy Sinner comes, you will see whether or not Ghanaians will settle on the Holy Sinner. Do you want to vote for a Holy Sinner? You have been reading Chronicles and quoting Bible. And how do you vote for a sinner? On
that note, I'll say a very big thank you to my guest
she read
who came in.
Habakkuk 2:16.
So Solomon Owusu represented the United Party and Bernard Bona represented PNC. That'll be all for this morning with regards to the News Flash segment. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back, and to Koa Natural Fruit Juice, the juice that you have to drink this year to stay very healthy.